Hello dear friends, welcome back at your own channel Maths Lena, where we are here to discuss the academic part of mathematics grade 11. But before starting with today's part, I would like to share a thought with you which is given by the great Isaac Newton. The thought is, what we know is a drop and what we don't know is an ocean. Now instead of explanation, I would like to give you as a homework. Just try to find out the reality of the thought. Whatever we know, is it really an ocean or it is really just a drop? Okay, whatever we know is just a drop, and whatever we don't know, because we are always trying to find out whatever we have learned in grade 9, that when we reached in 10, we realized that the syllabus of 9 or whatever we have learned in grade 9, that was okay part, but right now there is what something more. The same thing happens when you reach in grade 11, when you see that okay, whatever we are learning in grade 10, that is what much more, or whatever we have learned in grade 10 is just a drop of ocean. Now still the ocean is remaining, and even today I also feel that whatever I know, it is a kind of drop of an ocean. Still the ocean is what waiting for me, and I need to go for that. This is what the thought. Again I would like to repeat it. Whatever we know is just a drop of ocean, and whatever we don't know is an ocean. So let's go ahead with the today's topic.
So let's discuss some theorems and the remarks, chapter number 7, permutations and combinations. So here we go. First of all, I would like to repeat the definition of the permutation. It is, a permutation is an arrangement in a definite order of a number of objects taken some or all at a time. And the theorem number 1 is, the number of permutations of n different objects taken are at a time. Means not all, but from that all object we are taking few object. Okay, are at a time, where 0 is less than r is less than or equal to n, and the objects do not repeat, is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on, n minus r plus 1, which is denoted by NPR. Okay, this is what till exercise number 7.1 we were using this formula. Okay, let's see what is next. Derivation of the formula for NPR, which we will be using after exercise number 7.1 and 7.2. The formula is NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, where 0 is less than r is less than or equal to n. Okay, so how this is, n means what? Total objects, p stands for permutation, r means the number of objects taken from the total objects. So the formula becomes what? NPR, as we know from the theorem number 1, we know that NPR is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on into n minus r plus 1. What we will do now? We will divide, and what we'll do, we'll divide and multiply the numerator and the denominator by n minus r into n minus r minus 1 and so on into 3 into 2 into 1. So what we are going to get? We are going to get NPR is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, means the equation number 1 you can say, and then multiplied by n minus r into n minus r minus 1 into 3 into 2 into 1, and again divided by the same thing. That's why I told multiplying and dividing. Okay, so after this what we are going to do? How we are getting this n factor? Because n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on up to 1 we are multiplying, means the number is what? Going in decreasing order. That's why it will be what? n factorial. Okay, and denominator is what? N minus r minus 1. So again it is going in a decreasing order, so that's why it is what? N minus r factorial. Thus NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, where 0 is less than r is less than or equal to n. This is what this is a much more convenient expression, means what, easy to read, simple to understand for NPR than the previous one, because it was what, NPR is equal to this one, n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on. Okay, so this is what, easy to understand. In particular, when r is equal to n, means whenever we are taking the complete total objects, then it will be what, npn, which is equal to n factorial, and below that it will be n minus n, which is what, 0 factorial. But we know that 0 factorial is equal to 1, and it will be npn is equal to n factorial. Now theorem number 2. As we have already discussed in the video 1 of introduction, the number of permutation of n different objects taken r at a time when the repetition is allowed is equal to what, n raised to r, because when repetition is allowed, the same number we can take so many times, means the same number of time. That's why it will be what, n raised to r. We will understand this with the help of one example. That is what, example number 1 of your NCERT book. Find the number of 4 letter words with or without meaning which can be formed out of the letters of the word rose, that is ROSE, where the repetition of the letter is not allowed. This was the sum, but here we'll consider both the cases, when the repetition is allowed and when the repetition is not allowed. So first is what, if the repetition is not allowed. If repetition is not allowed, it means the number will be what, the at first position we can use all 4 letters, the second position we can use only 3, at the third position we can use only 2 letter, and at the fourth position we are able to use only 1 letter. At every time what is happening, the number is what, going in decreasing, that is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, and hence it will be what, 4p4, that is what, 4 factorial, that is equal to 24. The second case, when the repetition is allowed. So in this case what will happen, at the first position we can use 4 letters, second also 4 letters, third also 4 letters, and the fourth also 4 letters. So here it will be what, 4 into 4 into 4 into 4, or simply 4 raised to 4, that is 256. Now theorem number 3. The number of permutation of n objects where the p objects are of the same kind and rest are all different, that is what, n factorial divided by p factorial, means whenever n objects are given, but in that n object there are what, some different objects are there, where some objects are of one kind, another objects are of another kind. Okay, so that time it will be what, n factorial upon p factorial, or in other simple words, we have a more general theorem. What is that? Theorem number 4, that is the number of permutation of n objects where p1 objects are of one kind, p2 are of second kind, and so on, pk are of kth kind, and the rest, if any, are of different kind, is n factorial upon p factorial into p2 factorial into p3 factorial, and so on up to pk factorial. Okay, we'll understand this with the example. The theorem proof is not there, but it can be understand very easily with the help of example number 9. Find the number of permutations of the letter of the word ALLAHABAD, that is Allahabad. Okay, now what is happening here? Here there are 9 objects, total 9 letters are there, of which there are what, 4 times A is repeated, 2 times L is also repeated, and the rest are all different. Remaining every letter is what, different. So it will be what, whatever the n factorial is there. So it means what, 9 letters are there, so it will be 9 factorial. It will be what, 9 factorial, and below that denominator will be what, 4 are of same type, so 4 factorial, and then 2 are of same type, that is 2 factorial. So it will be 9 factorial upon 4 factorial into 2 factorial, and if you will write 9 factorial, it will be 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 factorial. that 4 factorial and this 4 factorial will get cut, and then we'll have the simplification form, that is 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 divided by 2. If you will go on calculation, you will be getting 7560. So hopefully you have understood this theorem also. Now the next one, that is theorem number 5. It is one of the important theorem, that is NPR is equal to NCR. NPR means what? The permutation. NCR means what? The combination. So NPR, the number of permutation, is equal to the number of combinations into R factorial, where 0 is less than R is less than or equal to N. What is this? The proof is what? Very easy to understand. If we will go on writing the formula, we will easily get. So I am going to read it out. Corresponding to each combination of NCR, we have R factorial permutation, because R object in every combination can be rearranged in R factorial ways. How? Hence, the total number of permutation of n different things taken R at a time is NCR into R factorial. On the other hand, it is nothing but the NPR. Thus, if we will go on writing the formula, it will be NPR is equal to NCR into R factorial, where 0 is less than R is less than or equal to N. So what is the remark from the above? N factorial, because NPR is equal to what? N factorial upon N minus R factorial is equal to NCR upon R factorial. If we will rearrange the R factorial, means this one, it will be coming here and dividing, means in the denominator. So it will become NCR is equal to N factorial divided by R factorial into N minus R factorial. So there are some other remarks, that is, in particular, if R is equal to N, then NCN is equal to N factorial divided by N factorial into 0 factorial. So N factorial and N factorial will get cancelled, and it will be what? Equal to 1, because 0 factorial is equal to 1. Now remark 2, this is what a simple reading I am doing it. We define, now remark number 2, we define NC0 is equal to 1. That is, the number of combinations of n different things taken nothing at all is considered to be 1. Counting combination is merely counting the number of ways in which the sum or all the objects at a time are selected. Selecting nothing at all is the same as leaving behind all the objects, and we know that there is only one way of doing so. This way we define NC0 is equal to 1. Now third remark, as we know that n factorial divided by 0 factorial into n minus 0 factorial is equal to 1, that is NC0. Therefore the formula is NCR is equal to n factorial divided by R factorial into n minus R factorial is applicable for when R is equal to 0 also. Hence what we can do, we can write NCR is equal to n factorial upon R factorial into n minus R factorial, where 0 is less than, it is not less than or equal to 0 is less than R is less than or equal to n. Now remark number 4, that is NC n minus R is equal to n factorial, and as we know the formula, divided by n minus R factorial into n minus R factorial. N and n, this n and n will get cancelled, and again what we are going to get, we are going to get n factorial divided by n minus R factorial into R factorial, which is nothing but again NCR. Okay, now that is what selecting R object out of n object is same as rejecting n minus R objects. So some number, or remark number 5 is what? NCA. If NCA is equal to NCB, this implies that A is equal to B, or in other words, A is equal to n minus B, or n is equal to A plus B. Now what is theorem number 6? Again one of the important theorem, that is NCR plus NCR minus 1 is equal to n plus 1 CR. How to prove this? Simply what we can do, wherever NCR is there, keep the formula, plus NCR minus 1, try to keep the formula, and then go on for calculation. How it will be? Like this. What we have this one, NCR plus NCR minus 1. By converting it into the formula, for NCR, we can write n factorial upon r factorial minus n minus r factorial, plus NCR minus 1 can be written as n factorial divided by r minus 1 factorial into n minus r plus 1 factorial. Okay, now if we will write it in a simple way, that is n factorial r factorial, then r factorial can be written as r into r minus 1 factorial, so that we have written, and then n minus r factorial as it is. Similarly, r minus 1 factorial as it is r minus 1 factorial, and n minus r plus 1 into n minus r factorial, okay, to make the denominator somewhat equal, so that easily we can take common. What we are doing now, we are taking common. What we are going to take common is, we are going to take common n factorial upon r minus 1 factorial into n minus r factorial, because at both the side we have n factorial. At both the side we have n factorial, we have r minus 1 and r minus 1 factorial, n minus r factorial, and n minus r factorial. So that's why we are taking this as a common. So after taking common, what we'll get, n factorial r minus 1 factorial into n minus r factorial, in bracket, from first we will be getting 1 upon r, and from the second part we will be getting 1 upon n minus r plus 1. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll do cross multiplication now, where to solve this bracket. So this denominator into 1 and r into 1, the plus sign will be there, and denominator they will multiply. So n factorial upon r minus 1 factorial, n minus r factorial into n minus r plus 1 plus r, and then below that it will be multiplying, that is what, r into n minus r plus 1. So what is the next way, that is n plus 1 factorial upon r factorial, and then n plus 1 minus r factorial, which is nothing but n plus 1 CR, which we wanted to prove. So these all are what, the sixth theorem and few important remarks. This will definitely help you out to understand and solve the sums of the chapter number 7, permutations and combination. Thank you. Now come back for exercise number 7.1.
Now let's start with the exercise number 7.1, and the sum number 1 is,
how many 3-digit numbers can be formed from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, assuming that number 1, repetition of the digit is allowed, number 2, repetition of the digit is not allowed.
So the sum number 1 says that we are going to find out, we are going to form 3-digit numbers with the digits. What are the given digits? It will start given digits, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Total 5 digits are there. And what are the restrictions? What we have to do? We need to make what? 3-digit numbers. Okay, in that there are what? 2 different cases. The case number 1 is what? Repetition is allowed. Repetition is allowed. So let's see, if we are going to make a 3-digit number, let's say this is what, first digit, this will be second digit, this will be what, third digit. Now whenever the repetition is allowed, as we have seen in the introduction part, whenever the repetition is allowed, that time simply it is what, n raised to r, right? Now what is n raised to r? Now the number of digits. How many number of digits are there? Only 3, right? So what we can say, whenever the repetition is allowed, but we are going to make what, only 3-digit number from given 5-digit numbers, right? So at first place, how many digits can we use? All 5 digits. Okay. Now at the second place, since the repetition is allowed, there also we can use all the 5 digits. Okay. All 5 digits, all 5 digits. And here also all the 5, since the repetition is what, allowed. So how many numbers can be formed? That is nothing but 5 into 5 into 5. That is n. 5 numbers taken how many times? 3 times. So 5 raised to 3, that is 5 into 5, 25. 25 into 5 is what? 125. But when the restriction is like this, the repetition is not allowed. Okay, whenever the repetition is not allowed, that time again we are going to make what? 3-digit number, 1, 2 and 3. And what are the digits? At the first place we can use all the 5 digits. But at the second place we cannot use the digit which we have used here. So if we are using at first place 5 digits, so at second place we will be using only 4 digits. We are able to use only 4 digits. Now 1 digit is used here. So we are left with the 4 digits. Now from that 4 digit again one more digit is used here. So we are left with the 3 digits. So in this way, whenever the repetition is not allowed, that time it will be 5 into 4 into 3. That is 5 4s are 20. 20 into 3 is what? 60 numbers. Okay? Sorry. 60 numbers can be formed whenever the repetition is not allowed. Now let's go ahead with the sum number 2. And the sum number 2 is,
how many 3-digit even numbers can be formed from the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if the digits can be repeated?
now according to sum number 2, the given digits are, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Total 6 digits are there. And what we have to do? We have to make 3-digit even number, right? Only even numbers. Make 3 digits even number, and the condition given is what? Repetition is allowed. Repetition is what? Is allowed. Okay, so what we are going to make? We are going to make a 3-digit number, but it should be even number. So at last we are able to use this 2, 4 and 6, right? It means we are able to use only 3-digit at the last place, that is unit place. Now total numbers are what? 6. So at first place we can use all the 6 digits. Since repetition is allowed, so at the second place also we can use all 6. Okay, this is not the number, these are what the digits can be used. So the total number, therefore total 3-digit even numbers can be equal to, this is 6 into 6 into 3, that is 6 are 36, and 36 into 3, 108. Okay, so 108 numbers can be made. Okay, now let's go on sum number 3.
How many 4-letter code can be formed using the first 10 letters of the English alphabets if no letter can be repeated?
And the sum number 3 says, what we have to do? We have to use what? Given first 10 alphabets of English. Okay, first 10 alphabets. What we have to do? We have to make 4 words or 4 alphabets, 4 alphabets code word. Yes, code word. And the thing is what? Repetition is not allowed. Repetition of alphabet is not allowed. Okay, now what we can do? 4-letter word. So 1, second letter, third letter and the fourth letter. Okay, and what are these 4? These 4 are nothing but the alphabets. How many alphabets total we have? We have total 10. So at the first place we can use all 10 alphabets. Now since one alphabet is used here, so how much are left with us? 9. Similarly 9 are used, 1 is used here, so out of 9, 8 are remaining. From 8, 1 is used here, so 7 are remaining. So total 4-letter code words is equal to 10 into 9 into 8 into 7. Now it depends on how we are multiplying. That is what 10 nines are 90 into 8 sevens are 56. Then it depends, 56 into 0 is what? 0. Then 9 into 56. It is what? 9 6 are 54. 5 are remaining. Then 9 5 are 45 plus 5. 5040 words. Okay. So this is what the answer. 5040 words can be made. Now the sum number 4. And the sum number 4 is,
how many 5-digit telephone numbers can be constructed using the digit 0 to 9 if each number starts with 6, 7 and no digit appears more than once?
in sum number 4, what is given with us? That is digits. That is how many digits? 10 digits from 0 to 9. What we have to make? We have to make 5 digits telephone number. Okay. Condition is what? Starting only with 6 and 7. 6, 7 and then the remaining numbers. Okay. And repetition is not allowed. Repetition is not allowed. Right, because it is clearly mentioned that no number or no digit is what? Repeated. What does it mean? We are going to make 5 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Compulsory we have to use 6 and 7. That is 6 will be first digit, 7 will be second digit. Now total digits were given to us were what? 10. Out of 10 we have used 2. It means now we are left with 8. Now from this 8 digit, if here we are using 8 digits, all 8 digits can be used at first place, but whatever number or whatever digit we have used here cannot be used here, so we are left for the second with 7 digits. Same thing we cannot use here, so we are left with the 6 digits. These are what the number 6, number 7. So here these two will not be counted. What we are going to count? We are going to count only these things. So therefore total 5 digits telephone number is equal to, that is 8 into 7 into 6. It is nothing but 7 8s are 56 into 6. 6 6s are 36, 3 carry, 6 5s are 30 and 3. It is 336 numbers. Is that okay? Now let's see the sum number 5.
A coin is tossed 3 times and the outcomes are recorded. How many possible outcomes are there?
Sum number 5. It says that a coin is tossed 3 times. What is given? A coin tossed or is tossed how many? 3 times. What we have to do? We have to find out how many possible outcomes. Which outcomes they are not asking? They are not asking about the head, tail, heads or head or tails. They are asking how many, means the number of total possible outcomes. Now anytime if you will toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? 2. That is what? Head or tail. So 3 times. Therefore, if 3 times it is happening, the coin is tossed. So possible outcome here also 2, here also 2, and here also 2. Therefore, total possible outcomes when a coin is tossed 3 times is equal to 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2, that is equal to what? 8. And the next sum, let's quickly go through the sum number 6.
Given 5 flags of different colors, how many different signals can be generated if Each signal requires the use of two flags, one below the other.
The sum number 6 says that total number of flags. What are the total number of flags? Given that total number of flags, that is equal to 5, and flags used for a signal, that is equal to what? 2. And again, repetition is not allowed. We are going to use what? Different flags for one signal. So different flag means what? We are not going to use it again. So repetition is not allowed. Repetition is not allowed. This you have to read it carefully. Okay. So therefore, what we can do? They are what? One below the other. So one here and second here. So at first place, you are free to use all 5 colors, 5 flags. But at the second place, you cannot use all 5 because one is used earlier. So second place, you will be able to use only 4 flags. Therefore, what we can say? Therefore, total signals can be 5 into 4, that is equal to what? 20. Okay, so this is what the end of exercise number 7.1, where we have used or where we have solved all sum, that is what sum, total 6 sums. Here we have used only the fundamental principle of counting, where the different events can be counted. If the events are what allowed to repeat, then it will be what? Same number into same number into same number. Okay, but whenever it is not allowed to repeat, then every time the number will go on decreasing. Okay, so which is what? A basic of the permutations, right? So here we have completed exercise number 7.1. A quick revision is what? Basic fundamental principle of counting, which says that if there are different events, then the total possible event that can be occurred is equal to event 1, how many times it is occurring, event 2, how many times it is occurring, and the same way. Suppose event 1 is happening m times, event 2 is happening n times, then the next event is happening p times, then total occurrence of the event altogether is equal to m into n into p. By using this fundamental principle of counting, we solved exercise number 7.1, total 6 sums. I hope that you must have understood this. I just want that try to repeat it, revise it at home, so the basic concept what will be clear. So wait for another video at your own channel Maths Mela. Will meet soon. Till that, be happy, be at home, and please complete the notebook. Thank you.